Hey everyone, Neil deGrasse Tyson here. And today we're diving into a fiery topic, the science behind Los Angeles' intense wildfires. You see, these aren't just natural disasters, they're fueled by a perfect storm of nature, climate change, and yes, even human activity. So if you've ever wondered why these wildfires are so powerful, so fast-moving, and so devastating, buckle up because we're about to break it all down. Let's talk about the fuel that feeds these infernos. Southern California is a Mediterranean climate, right? Dry, hot summers, mild, wet winters. Perfect conditions for a specific type of vegetation to thrive, chaparral. Now, chaparral plants like chamise and manzanita, they're what we call pyrophytes. They're actually adapted to fire. In fact, they need fire to regenerate. But here's the thing, chaparral plants are loaded with oils that are highly flammable. It's like Mother Nature pre-soaked the landscape in lighter fluid. And it's not just chaparral. You've got dry grasses, fallen leaves, dead trees. All of this acts as kindling, allowing fires to spread rapidly. Think about it like this. You try starting a campfire with a giant log. Not easy, right? You need smaller pieces of wood, tinder, to get things going. Well, that's what all this dry vegetation is. Tinder for wildfires. And once these fires get going, they burn hot, they burn fast, and they're incredibly difficult to stop. Now, imagine you've got this perfectly arranged tinderbox of dry vegetation just waiting for a spark. Enter the Santa Ana winds. These winds originate in the high deserts to the east of Los Angeles. They're dry, they're compressed, and they can blow with incredible force, sometimes exceeding 70 miles per hour. That's hurricane force wind, folks. As these winds funnel through canyons and valleys, they pick up speed, becoming like giant bellows, pushing flames across the landscape at an alarming rate. And it's not just the speed, it's the direction. Santa Ana winds typically blow from the east towards the west, pushing fires towards the coast, right where most people live. But there's another insidious effect of these winds. They carry embers. These embers, like tiny firebombs, can travel for miles in the wind, landing on dry brush and igniting new fires far from the original blaze. It's like the wind is playing a giant game of fiery hopscotch, and the consequences are devastating. Okay, so we've got the fuel, we've got the wind, but what's making these wildfires even more frequent and intense? You guessed it, climate change. As global temperatures rise, California, like many other parts of the world, is experiencing more extreme weather patterns. We're talking hotter summers, prolonged droughts, and a decrease in overall rainfall. What does this mean for wildfires? It's simple, drier vegetation for longer periods. Remember that tinderbox we talked about? Well, climate change is essentially pouring gasoline on it. And it's not just the fuel load. Warmer temperatures also mean a longer fire season. What used to be a concern primarily during the fall months is now a year-round threat. And here's the kicker: as wildfires become more frequent and intense, they release even more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, further exacerbating climate change. It's a vicious cycle, a feedback loop that's turning up the heat on an already dire situation. Now, we can't talk about the science behind LA's wildfires without addressing the elephant in the room: human impact. You see, while nature provides the fuel and the wind, humans are often the ones striking the match. In fact, over 80% of wildfires in California are started by people. Think about it. A stray cigarette butt tossed from a car window, a campfire that wasn't properly extinguished, even a spark from malfunctioning power lines. These seemingly small actions can have catastrophic consequences. And as more people move into what's called the wildland-urban interface, those areas where homes and communities butt up against wildlands, the risk of human-caused wildfires increases exponentially. It's a classic case of unintended consequences. We love living near nature, but we often fail to recognize the inherent risks. We need to be more aware of our surroundings, more responsible with our actions, and more proactive in preventing these devastating fires. So there you have it, the science behind LA's intense wildfires. It's a complex interplay of natural factors, climate change, and human activity. But here's the thing. This isn't just a local problem. The wildfires raging in California are a stark reminder of the global challenges we face in a changing climate. The lessons we learn here, the strategies we develop to prevent and combat these fires, They have implications far beyond the borders of Southern California. What happens here could shape wildfire prevention and mitigation efforts worldwide. So let's pay attention, let's learn from these events, and let's work together to create a safer, more sustainable future for all. Because when it comes to wildfires and to climate change as a whole, we're all in this together.